Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. A proposed development in Prince George's County has the residents of a senior adult community up in arms. At issue is the proposed 500,000 square foot mixed-use Mitchellville Park Town Center. It would be located adjacent to Six Flags Amusement Park off Central Avenue. It would include 300 apartment units, retail space, and an entertainment venue. But in order to move forward, the project needs 2 zoning amendments, and that's where the residents of Cameron Grove come in. They oppose the project and accuse some of the county council of trying to pull a fast one.
So what we want is for it to stay residential. We think that this has been a secretive kind of a process. It has not been transparent. We were not involved in it at any way. Nobody asked us our opinion about anything. So we believe that this is against the interests of that area.
Johnson was among the Cameron Grove residents who held a rally yesterday and gathered signatures for a petition opposing the project. In other news, Governor Larry Hogan sends an education panel back to the drawing board, citing diversity concerns. Hogan says the slate of nominees selected for the blueprint for Maryland's future accountability board doesn't reflect the current student population. The board is part of the education reform plan intended to close student achievement gaps. The nominees included 4 from Montgomery County, 3 from Baltimore City, and 1 each from Baltimore and Anne Arundel counties. Delegate David Frazier Hidalgo says there was no representation from the Latino community.
I think when we look at the latest census numbers, we're at, just as far as the Latino population is concerned, we're at just about 12% of the population. That's over 700, close to 750 million people in the state. And I think it's important that everybody gets a seat at the table and everybody's represented. And the initial recommendations, there was no Latino representation whatsoever. And as populations shift, I think it's incumbent on everybody to make sure that everyone is well represented. That's not only from a race perspective, but a religious perspective, a gender perspective. And then when we, leave certain groups out, even when the population is changing, that means they don't get represented. And it's more of an afterthought.
County Executive Angela Ossobrooks also expressed concerns about the lack of representation from Prince George's. There was also no representation from Western Maryland, the Eastern Shore, and any rural jurisdiction. Prince George's Public Schools will randomly test students for COVID-19 regardless of their symptoms or vaccination status. CEO Dr. Monica Goldson says the new policy will start on September 27th. Under policy, athletes over 12 years old will have to show proof of vaccination. If not, they'll undergo weekly testing starting in October. Shayla Adams Stafford and 5 other Board of Education members sent a letter to the county executive last week calling for a COVID-19 testing plan.
So many folks reached out, and primarily parents who wanted to ensure that when they sent their students to school, that there would be some sort of procedure for ensuring that students that were asymptomatic really could notify others. I think that was probably the biggest thing that I felt needed to be a part of our reopening plan. And so I was very happy to see it.
The county's teachers union also says it's pleased to see the new protocols. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The state health department has confirmed 1,103 new cases since yesterday. The county's positivity rate is at 5.62%. 13 people have died of COVID-19 since yesterday. 802 people remain hospitalized. The Prince George's officer involved in a fatal shooting in Oxon Hill last week has been identified. Police say he's Corporal John Diggs, a 12-year veteran of the department. The incident happened about 12:45 Friday afternoon in the 1100 block of Owens Road. Police say they were called to the apartment complex regarding a man who was banned from the property. The officer, who lives in the complex, attempted to get 29-year-old Cedric Williams to leave when he allegedly pulled out a handgun. A struggle ensued, and police say Diggs deployed his taser twice, but Williams was able to get away and grabbed a rifle from the wooded area. Diggs then fired his weapon multiple times, striking Williams. Both of the suspect's weapons were determined to be realistic replicas. U.S. Capitol Police arrest a man with several knives in his vehicle near DNC headquarters today. The suspect is 44-year-old Donald Craighead of California. An officer was on patrol when he spotted a truck with white supremacist symbols and no license plate. The officer uncovered a bayonet and machete inside the truck, which are illegal in the district. Craighead faces possession of prohibited weapons charges. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in a moment.
A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back. A triple shooting in Prince George's leaves one man dead and two others, including a boy, injured. It happened just before 8:30 last night at the 7600 block of Marlboro Pike in District Heights. Investigators say someone shot into a vehicle that was parked at a gas station. The victims then drove about a mile and a half to a townhouse community at the 2000 block of Addison Road. That's where police found the two men and a boy. The victim has been identified as 28-year-old Shakir Taylor of District Heights. In other news, Prince George's police are looking for the person who fatally shot a man in Oxon Hill over the weekend. The victim is 39-year-old Robert Hall. Officers responded to the 800 block of Maury Avenue around 2 a.m. on Saturday. They found Hall in the grass suffering from gunshot wounds. He died at the scene. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact police. The Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission releases its first draft congressional map after its second round of public hearings. Governor Hogan created the group by executive order to redraw congressional and legislative maps. The commission has agreed on a few general principles, such as not having District cross the Chesapeake Bay and having southern Prince George's combined with Maryland's 3 southern counties. A separate legislative redistricting advisory commission created by General Assembly leaders will hold its first public hearing at Prince George's Community College in Largo on September 20th at 6 p.m. Maryland improved slightly in its handling of COVID in prisons from an F to a D-. A report released this month from the Prison Policy Initiative says the state now ranks 5th in the nation since the pandemic began. By comparison, New Jersey ranks 1st, bringing its letter grade up from an F to a C. The report evaluates policies in state correctional systems such as reducing admissions, cutting infection and death rates, as well as vaccination efforts. Maryland did excel in one area, mental and physical health policies. The state earned a perfect score. Americans favor vaccine mandates in certain circumstances. That's according to a CNN poll. The new poll says 54% of Americans are in support of vaccine requirements for office workers. 55% are in favor of vaccinations for students in school. When it comes to concerts and sporting events, Americans are also okay with the vaccine policies. The poll was conducted August 3rd through September 7th. And still to come, a big home opener win for the Bowie State Bulldogs. Details after the break. Stay with us.
Find out how to use an awkward silence to help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Thank you for staying with us. A popular college rankings report is out, and a local university makes the list again. The University of Maryland ranks 59 on the U.S. News 2022 Best Colleges list. It comes in at number 154 for Best Value Schools. Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore made the Best College list at number 9. The classical music world is mourning the loss of 3 local legends. Carmen Balthrop, Michael Morgan, and Reginald Bouknight passed away recently. Balthrop, a soprano from Maryland, died on September 5th. She made her Metropolitan Opera debut in 1977, performed on Broadway and Tremonisha, and many of her songs were recorded. She was also a voice professor at the University of Maryland. Music teacher Nevela Otley worked with Balthrop at her school.
Carmen sang the title role with the Houston Grand Opera of Tremonisha. So I met her first on recording, then later on met her in real life because she's from here. And so we've known each other for a while, and she was here at the school less than 2 years ago, doing a master class with our vocal students.
Balthrop performed at major opera houses, including the Washington National Opera. We will have more on Michael Morgan and Reginald Bouknight later this week. College football. It was a big win for the University of Maryland this weekend. The Terps took on Howard University Bison, but it was no contest. The Terps defeated Howard 62-0. Meantime, Bowie State University's football team played their first home football game since November 2nd, 2019, and came from behind to get the Bulldogs' first win of the season. Down 10-0 in the second quarter, sophomore Jordan Carter returned an interception 38 yards for the Bulldogs' first touchdown, and then Bowie State University took the lead with a touchdown pass to sophomore Darius Bowman. The Bulldogs then scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to defeat the Saginaw Valley State Cardinals 28-19. The Bulldogs' next home game is Saturday, October 2nd at 2 p.m. versus Johnson C. Smith University. Bowie State's 2020 season was canceled by the CIAA due to COVID. BSU President Dr. Aminta Bro talked about the team being back on the field.
It's a thrilling experience to be back here at Bowie State University Stadium, welcoming our home team to the field and enjoying this glorious day. It is a time we've waited for so very long. Really pleased and excited to be back here and to see fans in the stands once again. We had to do so safely, and I'm really happy that we've gotten to this point. Still have to make sure everybody gets that vaccine out there so we can have even greater fun times here at Bowie State University.
In 2019, the Bulldogs won the CIAA championship with an undefeated 11-0 regular season record. Its one loss in the 2019 came in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast tonight. Mostly clear with a low around 72. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 91. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 84. Thursday, mostly cloudy with highs again in the 80s. And now for the community calendar. Bring your family and friends out to celebrate the return of Old Bowie Festival. The community festival is this Saturday, September 18th from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. between Chestnut Avenue and 9th Street. Enjoy live musicians, vendors, food, and more. Free parking is available at the public market parking lot at the Lemons Bridge Road. Shuttles are available and masks are required. For more information, visit oldbowiecelebrates.us. And that wraps up our CTV newscast. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a good night.